There is a great secret, and few ever realize it. Your focus is the most powerful tool you possess. Wherever you direct it, energy flows, and reality shapes itself accordingly. Yet most people scatter their focus, chasing validation, explaining themselves, seeking approval from those who do not hold the power to shape their destiny. You must withdraw from this futile pursuit. Turn within. You do not need to explain your journey to anyone. Silence is misunderstood by those who fear their own thoughts, but it is the foundation upon which all creation rests. Your silence is not emptiness, it is alignment. In silence, the greatest revolutions begin. In silence, the most profound shifts occur. Let the world wonder, let them assume, let them question. It does not concern you. When you are focused on yourself, you step into a power that cannot be seen but is deeply felt. Others may not understand why you have grown distant, why you no longer engage in trivial distractions, but that is not your burden to carry. Your purpose is not to convince anyone of your transformation. Your purpose is to embody it. Detach from the noise, detach from the opinions. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment you reclaim your power. When you no longer chase, beg, or seek validation, life begins to work in your favor. Doors open, paths clear. What you once struggled to attain now flows effortlessly into your reality. Do not waste your breath trying to make people see what only you were meant to understand. Remain silent and trust, for in your silence, the unseen is taking form. In your solitude, something greater is being built. Focus on yourself, and soon the world will focus on you, not because you sought its attention, but because you no longer needed it. The world you experience is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts you continuously hold within your mind. Every circumstance, every encounter, and every event is a mirror, showing you what you have accepted as truth about yourself and life. Most people believe that life happens to them, that events unfold randomly, that circumstances are dictated by forces outside their control. But the reality is far different. Life is shaped from within. The world you walk through each day is not separate from you. It is a projection of your assumptions, beliefs, and deeply held thoughts. When you allow yourself to fully grasp this truth, you begin to realize the immense power you hold. Nothing exists independently of your awareness. If you assume yourself to be limited, struggling, or unworthy, life will mold itself to confirm those beliefs. It will present obstacles, rejection, and hardship, not because you are destined to suffer, but because that is what you unconsciously affirm. But if you assume yourself to be worthy, abundant, and successful, the world must shape itself to reflect that state of being. It has no choice. Your beliefs act as an invisible architect constructing the reality you walk through each day. These beliefs are not just idle thoughts that pass through your mind. They are the foundations upon which your entire life is built. If you constantly tell yourself that success is difficult, that love is rare, or that happiness is fleeting, you will see these ideas play out before you, not because they are absolute truths, but because you have accepted them as such. On the other hand, when you change the way you think, when you replace doubt with certainty, fear with confidence, and limitation with possibility, life begins to shift in ways that seem almost miraculous. It is not enough to simply wish for change while continuing to entertain the same limiting thoughts. True transformation requires a shift in consciousness, a deep and unwavering belief that what you desire is already yours. This is where most people falter. They allow the evidence of the physical world to dictate their beliefs, instead of understanding that their beliefs create the physical world. They look at their current circumstances and reinforce them by reacting emotionally, further embedding those unwanted experiences into their reality. But the key to changing your life is to first change what you accept as true within yourself. Assume the feeling of already being the person you wish to become. not someday, not in the distant future, but right now. Let your thoughts reflect that reality. If you desire success, do not dwell on failure. If you seek love, do not entertain thoughts of loneliness. If you wish for abundance, let go of ideas of lack. The more you persist in an assumption, the more it solidifies into reality. Life does not respond to your wishes, it responds to your convictions. The shift does not happen overnight. The mind, conditioned by years of habitual thinking, will resist at first. Doubt will creep in. The external world may continue to reflect the old beliefs for a while, but your job is not to react to the old reality. It is to persist in your new assumption, knowing that the external world is only a delayed reflection of your inner state. If you hold firm, if you refuse to let appearances dictate your inner world, you will witness a transformation so profound that it will feel as though the entire universe has conspired to shift in your favor. Most people remain trapped in the cycle of reacting to life rather than creating it. They wake up each day and allow their environment to dictate how they feel, what they believe, and what they expect. But the moment you take control of your inner world, everything changes. You are no longer a passive participant, you become the creator. You begin to walk through life with an unshakable confidence, knowing that you are the master of your destiny. Hold the assumption of your ideal life so firmly in your mind that it becomes more real to you than the world you currently see. Do not wait for evidence, create it. Do not seek external validation, know it within. When your inner world shifts, the outer world has no choice but to follow. Holds a power that few truly understand. In a world that thrives on noise, where people constantly seek validation through words and external recognition, the ability to remain silent is often mistaken for weakness. But true strength does not need to announce itself. It does not seek to prove, argue, or convince. It simply is. The greatest transformations, the most profound shifts in life, happen in silence, away from the noise of opinions and distraction. Silence is the space where real power is cultivated. It is in silence that the mind clears, that thoughts become intentional, and that desires take form. When you resist the urge to explain yourself, when you stop feeling the need to justify your actions, you reclaim the energy that is so often wasted on trying to make others understand you. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey, and that is perfectly fine. Your growth, your success, your transformation, none of it requires the approval of others. The most successful, powerful individuals move in silence. They do not broadcast their plans, their struggles, or their next moves. Instead, they focus inward, directing all their energy toward their vision, allowing their actions and results to do the speaking for them. Words can be manipulated, misunderstood, or dismissed, but results are undeniable. When you commit to your path and refuse to be distracted by external noise, you step into a power that few possess, the power of quiet certainty. When you speak less, you observe more. You begin to notice things that others overlook. You become attuned to the subtle shifts in energy, the hidden opportunities, and the unspoken intentions of those around you. Silence sharpens your intuition, giving you an edge that cannot be acquired through loudness or constant expression. When you are silent, you listen, not just to others, but to yourself, to the whispers of your own soul, to the guidance that comes when the mind is still. Many people fear silence because they associate it with invisibility, with being overlooked or forgotten. But the opposite is true. Those who master the art of silence command a presence that is felt even when they do not speak. There is a quiet confidence in those who do not need to fill every moment with words. Their energy speaks for them. Their actions make a statement that no speech could ever match. Discipline yourself to resist the urge to announce your every move. Not everyone needs to know what you are working on, what you are struggling with, or what you intend to achieve. The more you reveal, the more room you leave for doubt, interference, and negativity from those who do not have your best interests at heart. Protect your energy by keeping your plans close. Let people see the results when they manifest, not when they are still in the delicate process of formation. There will always be those who misunderstand your silence, who mistake it for a lack of direction or purpose, but that is because they have not yet learned that the greatest storms build in quiet, the most profound transformations happen when no one is watching. The most unstoppable people do not announce themselves. They emerge, fully formed, when the time is right. Resist the urge to react, to explain, to seek approval. Move in silence, not because you are afraid to speak, but because you know that true power does not need to be declared. It is felt, and when the time comes, the world will see what you have been building, not through your words, but through the undeniable reality of your success. The need for validation is one of the greatest chains that bind people to lives of limitation. From a young age, many are conditioned to seek approval, to be praised, to be accepted, to be acknowledged, but in doing so, they unknowingly give away their power. The moment you look outside yourself for validation, you allow the opinions of others to dictate your worth, your choices, and ultimately, your destiny. True freedom begins the moment you detach from this need and realize that you do not require permission to become the person you were meant to be. When you constantly seek validation, you live in a state of uncertainty. You measure your worth based on how others perceive you, and because opinions are ever changing, so is your sense of self. One day you may feel confident because someone praises you. The next you may feel doubtful because someone criticizes you. This is a dangerous way to live because it means your inner world is controlled by forces outside of you, but the truth is no one can define you except yourself. No one holds the authority to determine your value. The only validation you truly need is your own. Detaching from external validation is not about rejecting feedback or isolating yourself from the world. It is about recognizing that you are the ultimate authority over your life. You must learn to trust your own judgment, to stand firm in your beliefs even when others do not understand them. If you are constantly looking for reassurance, you will always be at the mercy of others' opinions, and your life will become a reflection of their expectations rather than your true desires. The greatest minds, the most successful individuals, and the most powerful people in history did not seek approval. They walked their path with certainty, often in the face of opposition, ridicule, and doubt. They understood that seeking validation is a distraction, a way of handing control over to those who do not see the vision as clearly as they do. They were not swayed by public opinion because they knew that true conviction does not require confirmation. When you stop seeking validation, you become unshakable. You no longer need constant reassurance that you are on the right path. You simply trust yourself. You move with a quiet confidence, knowing that your worth is not up for debate. This shift in mindset liberates you. You are no longer held back by fear of judgment. You stop hesitating, stop second-guessing, and start living fully, unapologetically, as the person you were meant to be. Many people remain trapped in a cycle of seeking approval because they fear rejection. They fear being misunderstood or criticized, but rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a sign that not everyone is meant to walk with you. The opinions of others are shaped by their own limitations, fears, and beliefs. What someone else thinks of you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. The moment you understand this, you reclaim your power. Walking your path with certainty does not mean you will never face resistance. In fact, the stronger your belief in yourself, the more you will challenge the status quo, and the more opposition you may encounter. But this is not a sign to stop. It is a sign to keep going. If you live for approval, you will live a life of compromise, but if you live for truth, you will experience a freedom that most people never taste. Trust yourself. You do not need permission to evolve, to grow, to change. You do not need approval to chase your dreams, to walk away from what no longer serves you, or to step into the life you desire. The only permission you need is your own. And when you give it to yourself, when you fully embrace the power that has always been within you, the world will have no choice but to recognize the force that you have become. Energy is the currency of life. Where you direct it determines what you experience. Most people spend their energy carelessly, focused on others, consumed by opinions, reacting to external circumstances. They scatter their power, giving their attention to things that do not serve them, and then wonder why life feels chaotic and unfulfilling. But the truth is simple. The energy you give is the energy you receive. If you pour your attention into distractions, you will receive more distractions. If you obsess over what others think, you will feel uncertain and dependent on their approval. But if you focus on yourself, your growth, your desires, your inner world, life aligns in your favor, bringing you exactly what you seek. Many do not realize how much energy they waste by being overly concerned with others. They analyze people's opinions, compare themselves, and seek validation, not understanding that every thought and emotion directed outward weakens their own power. The more you give your energy to others in this way, the less you have for yourself. This is why so many feel drained, stuck, or lost, because their energy is not focused on their own path. They are living reactively instead of intentionally. But when you shift that focus inward, everything changes. You reclaim your energy. You stop chasing and start attracting. The moment you prioritize yourself, your goals, your mindset, your well-being, you begin to move differently. You radiate confidence, and that confidence draws opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with your desires. This is not a coincidence. It is a reflection of the law that governs all things. What you send out is what you receive. If you constantly focus on negativity, on what is wrong, on what you lack, on what others are doing, you invite more of the same into your life. But if you shift your energy to gratitude, self-improvement, and possibility, life responds accordingly. It is not about forcing things to happen, but about creating the right internal environment for them to happen naturally. When you operate from a place of abundance, abundance flows toward you. When you move with certainty, life mirrors that certainty back to you. This is why focusing on yourself is the most powerful thing you can do. It is not selfish, it is necessary. The more you invest in your own energy, the more magnetic you become. You do not need to chase, convince, or struggle. You simply need to align. And alignment happens when you stop looking outward for direction and start trusting that everything you need is already within you. The world will try to pull your energy in 1,000 different directions. It will tempt you to compare, to react, to seek approval. But every time you give in to these distractions, you weaken your own power. Instead, discipline yourself to remain focused. Ask yourself daily, where is my energy going? Is it fueling my growth, or is it being wasted on things beyond my control? When you truly understand that energy is your most valuable asset, you will guard it fiercely. You will stop engaging in pointless arguments. You will stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You will stop seeking love, success, or happiness outside of yourself, because you will know that everything you desire is a reflection of the energy you cultivate within. Let others do as they wish. Let them think as they please. None of that concerns you. Your only responsibility is to master your own energy, to direct it with intention, and to trust that by doing so, life will unfold exactly as it should. When you focus on yourself, you are not ignoring the world. You are simply choosing to shape it rather than be shaped by it. And in doing so, you unlock a power that few ever realize, the power to create the life you truly desire. Not everyone is meant to understand you. This is a truth that once accepted will set you free. Many people spend their lives trying to explain themselves, justify their choices, and gain approval from those who were never meant to see their vision. But when you seek understanding from others, you give away your power. You make their perception more important than your own growth. The reality is your journey is yours alone, and not everyone will see it, appreciate it, or support it, and that is perfectly fine. As you evolve, you will notice that your silence unsettles people. Some will misinterpret your distance as arrogance, coldness, or even rejection. They will question why you are not as available, why you no longer engage in meaningless conversations, why you have shifted your focus inward, but their confusion is not your concern. The path of growth requires solitude. It demands that you remove yourself from distractions, from unnecessary attachments, and from the need to explain yourself at every turn. Those who truly align with you will not need an explanation. They will understand your silence without question. When you begin to change, when you elevate your thinking, when you prioritize your peace, when you no longer entertain negativity, some will feel uncomfortable. They may resist your transformation because it challenges their own way of being. They were comfortable with who you used to be, with the version of you that was always available, always explaining, always seeking approval. But you are not here to remain stagnant for the comfort of others. You are here to grow. And growth often requires outgrowing people, places, and patterns that no longer serve you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them create their own stories about why you have become more distant, more focused, more selective with your energy. It is not your job to correct their assumptions. Your only responsibility is to continue evolving. Those who are meant to be in your life will adjust to your growth. Those who are not will remove themselves. Either way, it is not your burden to carry. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is slowing down your own progress just to be more relatable to others. You do not need to shrink yourself to fit into spaces you have outgrown. You do not need to dim your light so that others feel comfortable in your presence. The right people, the ones who are aligned with your purpose, will not only accept your transformation, but will celebrate it. They will respect your silence, understand your distance, and support your decision to focus on yourself. There is great power in realizing that understanding is not a requirement for connection. Some of the most profound shifts in your life will happen in solitude, without validation, without applause, and without explanation. This is because true transformation happens within. It is an internal process, not something that needs to be broadcasted or justified. You do not need the world to understand you. You only need to understand yourself. If you spend your energy trying to convince others of your worth, your vision, or your decisions, you will exhaust yourself. Instead, let your actions speak. Move in silence. Focus on your path. Allow your evolution to unfold naturally. The right people will recognize your growth without needing an explanation. The wrong people will question it, because they were never meant to follow you on this journey. Your purpose is not to be understood, it is to evolve, to become the highest version of yourself, to embrace change without hesitation, to walk your path with confidence, even when no one else sees the destination. Let them misunderstand, let them talk, let them wonder, it does not matter. What matters is that you keep moving forward unshaken, unapologetic, and fully aligned with who you are meant to be. Faith is not built in what is seen. It is built in what is unseen. It is the quiet confidence that what you hold within will inevitably become your reality. Most people struggle with this because they seek external confirmation before they believe. They want signs, validation, and proof before they trust in their desires. But true faith requires no proof. It demands that you trust the unseen so completely that the outer world has no choice but to conform. When you withdraw from the need to explain yourself, you allow faith to work in your favor. You stop looking for validation from others, and instead you rest in the knowing that what you have accepted within will soon take shape in the physical world. The need to convince others is a sign of doubt. If you truly believed, you would not feel the need to explain, defend, or justify your vision. You would hold it in silence, knowing that time will reveal all things. There is immense power in keeping your desires private. Many people weaken their manifestations by speaking too soon, sharing their dreams with those who cannot see what they see. They open themselves up to doubt, criticism, and external opinions that dilute their inner certainty. But when you understand how faith operates, you no longer seek permission or approval. You hold your vision close, nurturing it in the unseen, until it becomes undeniable. Everything in this world begins as an unseen idea. The tallest buildings, the greatest inventions, the most profound transformations, all started as thoughts. Before they became visible, they existed in the mind of someone who dared to believe. They did not need the world's approval. They did not need others to understand. They simply held on to their vision with unwavering faith, allowing it to take root and grow in silence. You must do the same. Instead of explaining yourself, focus on embodying the version of yourself that already has what you seek. If you desire success, feel successful now. If you desire love, feel loved now. If you desire abundance, feel abundant now. Your imagination is the blueprint for your future, and what you persist in assuming will harden into fact. This is how faith operates, not by waiting for proof, but by trusting that the unseen is more real than what the eyes perceive. Most people live in reverse. They react to their current circumstances and assume that what they see is all there is. They forget that their current reality is simply a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. If they wish to change their life, they must first change what they accept as true within. This is where faith becomes essential. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the imagined and the experienced. Silence is the companion of faith. When you move in silence, you allow the unseen to work on your behalf. You do not waste energy explaining yourself to those who cannot see what you see. You do not seek reassurance from the world. Instead, you stand firm in your belief, knowing that the manifestation is already on its way. The moment you let go of the need to prove anything, you step into alignment with the very thing you desire. Others wonder. Let them question your silence, your distance, your unwavering confidence. It is not your job to make them understand. Your only task is to hold your vision so steadily that nothing can shake it. When you master this, life will unfold effortlessly in your favor. What was once unseen will become undeniable. What was once only imagined will become your lived reality. And when that day comes, you will realize that faith was never about proving anything to others. It was always about proving it to yourself. The journey of focusing on yourself and staying silent is one of inner mastery. It requires you to detach from the need for validation, to trust in the unseen, and to understand that not everyone is meant to comprehend your path. True power does not announce itself, it moves in silence, allowing faith to shape reality without the need for explanation. When you withdraw from distractions and external opinions, you reclaim your energy, align with your desires, and step into the life you were meant to live. Let others misunderstand you. Let them question your distance. It is not your concern. Your purpose is not to be seen or validated. It is to evolve. The less you explain, the more life unfolds in your favor. So walk in quiet confidence, knowing that what you hold within will manifest without. Move with certainty, trust in yourself, and let your results speak louder than words ever could. Thank you. There is a great secret, one that many overlook in their rush to grab fortune. It is not the ticket you purchase that changes your life. It is the silent word you speak within yourself. Before you ever step forward to buy the lottery ticket, step inward first. Inside yourself, say silently, "It is already mine." Whisper it not with doubt, not with hope, but with the absolute knowing that you are simply claiming what has already been gifted to you. For life is not a matter of luck, nor is it a game of chance. Life answers faithfully to the whispers of your inner speech. What you accept as true within yourself will without fail become your outer world. The world is a mirror, perfectly reflecting back to you the silent assumptions you hold. If you stand before the lottery counter burdened with hope, fear, or skepticism, you call forth more uncertainty. But if you stand there wrapped in the feeling of possession, the feeling that says, "Of course, I have won," then life must echo that certainty. Say silently before you buy, "This win is already mine, it is done, I rejoice in its fulfillment," and then purchase your ticket not as one grasping for a blessing, but as one who simply accepts a divine appointment. Physical appearances may try to tempt you into doubt. Ignore them. The senses are slow, they are shadows of former beliefs. The word you speak silently now has already set creation into motion. You need not scream, you need not tell a soul. One true moment of inner acceptance, one powerful silent decree outweighs 1,000 empty words. It is not the loudness of the voice, but the depth of the conviction that creates worlds. Move from the ticket counter with a light heart. Celebrate inwardly, for you have already succeeded. The lottery, the numbers, the prize, all these are merely instruments. The real power is within you. Always was, always will be. Say it silently, know it completely. Walk in the joy of its fulfillment, and watch as life bends to your word. The words you speak silently within yourself are the architects of your reality. Each thought, each inner whisper, carries with it the seed of creation. You may not realize it, but every silent affirmation you repeat, every mental conversation you engage in, is designing the very circumstances in events you encounter in the visible world. The outer world is not separate from you, it is your inner world pushed out. Your daily experience, whether it is of abundance or lack, joy or sorrow, is not a matter of external conditions acting upon you, but rather the natural reflection of the assumptions you hold within. Change the pattern of your inner speech, and you will inevitably change the fabric of your reality. When you walk through the world, you are not merely observing life, you are participating in the shaping of it through your silent dialogues. If you are continually affirming to yourself thoughts of failure, fear, or limitation, even without speaking them aloud, they must take form in your life. On the other hand, if your inner speech is filled with declarations of success, gratitude, and certainty, life will rise to meet you at the level of your affirmed identity. This is not wishful thinking, it is a law, as certain and as dependable as gravity. The subconscious mind, which orchestrates all the seeming coincidences and accidents of your world, accepts the words you impress upon it, whether they are intentional or careless, and brings them into physical expression. It does not question the quality or wisdom of what you impress. It only knows how to fulfill. Therefore, the greatest work you can ever undertake is the mastery of your inner speech. To be vigilant, to be conscious of what you are telling yourself day and night, is the key to unlocking a life of freedom, abundance, and joy. Before any outer action, there is an inner conversation. Before any victory is won on the stage of life, it is first achieved in the hidden theater of the mind. It is not enough to take action outwardly while maintaining defeat inwardly. Life responds to your inward declarations, not your outward motions. Silently affirm your good. In moments when doubt creeps in, gently but firmly return to your chosen inner word. Say within yourself, "I am already victorious. I am wealthy beyond measure. I am favored and blessed." Persist, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. Your persistence is the proof of your faith, and your faith is the force that molds the unseen into the seen. You are never a victim of circumstances, you are the author of them. You are never at the mercy of chance. You are the master craftsman shaping the stone of reality with the chisel of your word. Speak silently, but speak with authority. Whisper within yourself as one who knows that their word is law, for the world is listening to you even when you think no one else can hear. It is not what others say about you that matters. It is what you say about yourself, silently and consistently, that writes the story of your life. Choose wisely, speak with love, and above all, speak with the unwavering certainty that your inner word will never return to you void. There is a hidden law quietly governing the events of your life, a law that few recognize yet all experience. That law is simple. Consciousness is the one and only cause. The circumstances you meet, the people who enter your story, the opportunities or obstacles that appear, all spring from the state of consciousness you consistently occupy. Nothing comes to you by luck. Nothing happens to you by accident. Life mirrors what you assume to be true within yourself. Most people live under the illusion that outer conditions dictate their inner world, that if they could just rearrange the facts of life, they would finally feel secure, loved, successful, and happy. But the great reversal is this: it is your internal assumption, your quiet belief about yourself and your world, that molds, shapes, and determines every outer fact you call reality. Your consciousness is like a projector, casting images onto the screen of space. What appears out there was first accepted as true in here. You do not receive what you want, you receive what you are conscious of being. If you hold an inner conviction that you are fortunate, opportunities will seem to find you at every turn. If you believe yourself to be neglected or unlucky, life will echo that belief with uncanny accuracy. The world has no power of its own. It is a mirror reflecting back to you your own thoughts, feelings, and assumptions made visible. Look carefully and you will see that your outer life is your inner conversations clothed in flesh. The people who love you, the wealth you enjoy, the challenges you face, all are drawn into your experience by the magnetism of your consciousness. This is not cause for fear, but for joy. For if you are the cause, you are also the cure. You are not at the mercy of fate, nor are you a pawn tossed about by random forces. You are the dreamer, dreaming the world into being. You are the potter, shaping the clay of reality with the touch of your assumptions. To change your world, you must first change the assumptions you secretly live by. No outer struggle is necessary. Effortlessly, naturally, your reality rearranges itself to match your new inner state. Assume you are already the person you wish to be. Walk in that state, inwardly speaking and feeling from it, and life will, with mathematical certainty, mirror your new conception. You are consciousness itself, timeless, formless, infinitely creative. Your assumption is the mold, and life with perfect fidelity fills it. There is no randomness in a world governed by consciousness. There is only the perfect outpicturing of what you most deeply believe. So assume wisely, live consciously, speak to yourself with faith and love, for your inner speech writes the script of tomorrow. You are the cause, you are the creator, and the world ever so faithfully is your echo. The secret to manifesting your desires is not found in wishing, hoping, or waiting. It is found in assuming the feeling of already having what you seek. Before the numbers are drawn, before the event unfolds, before any physical confirmation arrives, you must feel the reality of your wish fulfilled. You must move inwardly into the state where it is already done. To assume the feeling of already winning is to step beyond the world of appearances and enter the creative realm where all things are possible. In this realm, it is not logic or probability that determines outcomes. It is your consciousness alone. The moment you claim the feeling of success, regardless of outer evidence, you set into motion unseen forces that will shape reality to mirror your inner conviction. Feeling is the secret. Thought alone, if cold and detached, will not move the subconscious mind into creative action. But thought fused with feeling, vivid, alive, real, becomes the command that life must obey. When you feel something as real, you impress it deeply upon your subconscious, and that impression expresses itself outwardly as fact. Before you buy the ticket, before you take any outer action, turn inward. Imagine the thrill of victory, hear the congratulations, feel the weight of the prize in your hands. Live in the end result not as a dream or a future hope, but as a present reality. What would you think, say, and do if you already knew you had won? Take on that inner posture now, and the outer world will eventually conform. Many wait for signs before they believe, but the wise know that signs follow belief, never precede it. It is your feeling of certainty, your inner acceptance of success, that draws all evidence toward you. The numbers, the prize, the celebrations, these are but echoes of the feeling you first assumed. Do not concern yourself with how it will happen. The conscious mind, limited by reason and past experiences, cannot grasp the infinite ways life can arrange itself to fulfill your assumption. Your part is simple. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that state no matter what appearances say. Even if doubt whispers, even if the senses scream otherwise, return gently to your assumption. Strengthen it each day with gratitude, with expectancy, and with the quiet knowing that your inner world is the only cause. You are not waiting on life, life is waiting on you, waiting for you to move into the feeling of already being the one you wish to be. So before the numbers are drawn, win within yourself, claim the feeling of victory now, and when you do, the world, bound by an unseen and perfect law, must deliver to you exactly what you have dared to feel as real. There is a sacred power in the words you speak to yourself in silence. Long before a dream becomes visible, long before an achievement is recognized by the world, it is born in the quiet corridors of the mind. The silent declarations you make, the inner conversations you carry, are far more powerful than any external speech. They are the seeds planted deep in the fertile soil of the subconscious, and from them your entire reality grows. Many believe that spoken words must be loud to be effective. They believe that declarations must be shouted from rooftops to command attention. But the true creative act happens in stillness. It happens in the unspoken affirmations you quietly accept as true. The world does not respond to noise, it responds to conviction. And conviction is most purely formed in silence. When you speak silently to yourself, you bypass the defenses of the outer world, you bypass the noise, the doubts, the distractions. You enter directly into communion with your subconscious mind, the infinite creative intelligence that shapes and governs your entire life experience. A silent, confident, I am successful, spoken inwardly with feeling, has more power to rearrange your world than 1,000 shouted affirmations uttered without belief. The subconscious is impressionable. It is not moved by force. It is moved by feeling, by repetition, by acceptance. Every time you silently declare your desire as already fulfilled, you etch that reality deeper into the mind that never sleeps. And the subconscious, faithful and obedient, sets about weaving the circumstances necessary to bring your inner word to life. You do not need to convince anyone else of your dream. You need only convince yourself. Your silent conversations, the ones you entertain when no one is watching, are scripting your future. If you could overhear your own silent words, what would you hear? Would you hear doubt, fear, unworthiness, or would you hear confidence, joy, and certainty? It is in those quiet moments, the spaces between actions, the pauses between breaths, that creation takes place. Whisper to yourself the truths you wish to live. Say silently, I am abundant, I am loved, I am victorious. Feel these words as if they were already fact. Let them saturate your being until they feel natural, inevitable, and true. You need not move the outer world by force. You need only move yourself inwardly. The world will faithfully reflect the silent song you sing within. Silent declarations are not weak. They are powerful beyond measure because they operate at the root level of creation. What you impress upon the subconscious must eventually be expressed in the world. So speak wisely even when no one hears. Declare boldly even when the evidence is yet unseen. For the silent words you speak today are the living realities you will walk into tomorrow. Speak in silence, believe in silence, and in due time the entire world will rise up to echo what you have quietly, confidently claimed within. Ignore appearances, persist in the unseen truth. Physical evidence is delayed, your word is immediate. One of the greatest tests in the art of manifestation is learning to ignore appearances. The outer world, with all its facts, figures, and seeming obstacles, will often tell a story that contradicts your inner vision. If you are ruled by what you see, hear, or touch, you will forever be a servant of circumstance. But if you can persist in the unseen truth, in the reality you have declared inwardly, you become the master of your world. The truth is simple yet profound. The physical evidence is delayed. It is the trailing shadow of former thoughts and beliefs. What you see right now is not the result of what you are thinking now. It is the result of what you believed yesterday, last week, last month. It is not immediate. It lags behind consciousness. It is slow, while the creative act of assumption is instant. Your word, your inner decree is immediate. The moment you claim something inwardly, it is yours in the unseen. The higher realms of consciousness accept it at once. But to see it appear in the world of form, you must persist unwaveringly. You must walk by faith, not by sight. Do not be discouraged if the world seems to remain unchanged after you affirm your new reality. The seeds you plant in consciousness must have time to break through the soil and blossom into visible form. Doubt, fear, and impatience uproot the seed before it can bear fruit. Faith, persistence, and inner certainty nourish it until it stands tall in the daylight. Understand that appearances are old news. They are reports from a past state of being. They are not indicators of what is to come, unless you allow them to be. If you react to appearances, you recreate them. But if you ignore them and remain faithful to your unseen assumption, you call forth a new world. The power lies not in fighting the old, but in persisting in the new. You must feel the reality of your desire fulfilled, even when the senses offer no evidence. You must act, think, and feel as though your assumption were already true, knowing that the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to mirror your inner conviction. Hold fast to your vision. Speak your word inwardly and stand by it. Refuse to allow temporary appearances to sway you. They are illusions, echoes of the past, mirages that dissolve when faced with the steadfast light of belief. In the great tapestry of life, there are countless moments of wishing, endless cycles of hoping, and many whispered prayers for change. Yet it is not the multitude of scattered hopes that brings transformation. It is a single, pure moment of true faith. One true moment of inner conviction outweighs a lifetime of uncertain longing. One unwavering acceptance of your desired reality moves mountains where endless hoping leaves them untouched. Faith is not pleading, faith is not begging for life to change. Faith is the quiet certainty that what you have imagined is already real, already accomplished, already yours. It is an inner knowing so complete that no outer evidence can shake it, no delay can discourage it, and no appearance can disprove it. When you enter that sacred moment of true faith, you cross an invisible threshold. You leave behind the world of uncertainty and step into the creative power of your own being. In that moment, you no longer ask, will it happen? You know that it already has, even if no physical evidence has yet arrived. That silent conviction seals your destiny. It is important to understand the universe does not respond to your endless hoping. It responds to your being, your inner state. Hope often leaves your desire in the future, always just beyond reach. But faith claims it now. Faith feels it real now. Faith stands in the present moment and says, "It is done." You could hope for years and see little change, but a single instant of pure inner acceptance can rearrange your entire world. Life mirrors your true inner state, not your wishes. When you are inwardly convinced without strain or struggle, reality has no choice but to conform. This does not mean forcing yourself to believe, it means surrendering into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, letting go of the need to see immediate proof, and resting in the assurance that unseen forces are already moving. That rest, that quiet assurance, is the mark of true faith. Faith is not loud, it is not desperate, it is still, it is powerful, and it is certain. It is a silent decree, spoken only within, that the world will, in perfect time and order, reflect outwardly. One true moment of faith can shift the course of your life entirely. It can open doors that no effort could pry open. It can lift you above circumstances that once seemed immovable. It can call into being blessings so vast they defy explanation. So turn inward. Find that place within where you can feel the reality of your desire is already fulfilled. Stay there. Rest there. Let the silent, invisible conviction take root, and trust that it is enough. You do not need to hope 1,000 times. You need only believe once, fully, truly, deeply. For one true moment of faith transforms everything, and once you touch it, your world can never remain the same. In the end, remember this: the power of creation lies within you. Every thought, every word, every silent assumption shapes your reality. The outer world may present itself with its distractions, its doubts, and its illusions, but you are the master of your inner world. The key to unlocking your dreams is not in hoping, wishing, or waiting. It is in assuming the feeling of already having, in persisting beyond appearances, and in speaking your truth silently with unwavering faith. Every single moment of faith, no matter how quiet, has the power to transform your life. Trust that the invisible forces of the universe are always at work on your behalf, ready to mirror the truth you hold within. So, move forward with conviction. Assume the best, feel the success is already yours, and watch as the world around you rearranges itself to reflect your inner beliefs. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your commitment to creating the life you truly deserve. Keep faith in the unseen, and never forget that your word, spoken silently and with confidence, is the most powerful force in the universe. My friends, I invite you to lay down the burden of effort and striving, for tonight you shall learn the effortless way. The world you see with your eyes, the hands you move, the plans you write, all of it is but the shadow. The true work is done in the secret place of consciousness. What you assume within, what you accept without effort, ripples out and shapes the fabric of your life. If you desire to win the lottery, hear me now. It is not through endless visualizations, not through desperate prayers, not through frantic action that it comes. It comes by the quiet certainty within you, the still, small voice that says, "It is done." When you listen to these words, do so once with an open heart. Let them pass beyond the surface of your mind and take root in your soul. For the word spoken and heard in faith is the beginning of all creation. When you hear, truly hear, and accept, the seed is sown. And once sown, you need not watch and wait anxiously for it to sprout. You need not dig it up every hour to check its progress. Trust the life within the seed. Trust the unseen hand that moves all things toward fulfillment. Events, faces, chances, they will rearrange themselves. A bridge of incidents, perfectly natural, yet wholly miraculous, will unfold before you. You will be carried across this bridge without effort, without strain, to the fulfillment of your desire. There is nothing you must do, not a finger must be lifted. Only listen once, but listen well. Accept now that you have won. Feel the thrill, the gratitude, the quiet joy, as though it were already true. There are the two largest in the cosmos, the universe and the humans. This is the simple way, this is the narrow gate. Few find it because few believe that so much could be accomplished by so little. But the one who dares to listen once with full faith shall find themselves marveling at the power that has always been within them. Listen once, believe fully, and watch the world rearrange itself for you. The great secret, hidden in plain sight, is this: consciousness is the only reality. All that you see, touch, taste, and experience with the senses is nothing more than a mirror, faithfully reflecting the state of your inner world, your imagination, your beliefs, your assumptions. The world outside is not separate from you. It is not something happening to you. It is happening through you, springing forth from the fertile soil of your own awareness. If you accept poverty within, the mirror shows you poverty. If you accept abundance within, the mirror must reflect abundance. It cannot act otherwise. When it comes to winning the lottery, most people mistakenly believe that external actions, buying more tickets, picking the right numbers, studying patterns, are the key to success. But the external world is only an echo. True change, real magic, begins within. You are not here to struggle and chase. You are here to awaken. Winning the lottery or manifesting any form of wealth starts with a shift in consciousness, not a flurry of activity. You must first recognize and accept inwardly the reality of your abundance. You must become the winner in your imagination before any outer evidence will appear. To win, you must enter the state of already having won. Feel, even if only quietly within yourself, that you are in possession of that golden ticket, that the news has already come. Hear the congratulations. Feel the joyful relief in your body. See the evidence stamped clearly in the world around you, even if no one else can yet see it. This inner acceptance is not wishful thinking, it is creation itself. The act of assuming a thing to be true, assuming it fully, naturally, without effort, impresses your deeper mind. And what is impressed must be expressed. What is planted must bear fruit. You need not strain. You need not force yourself to believe. You simply allow the new state to feel real, even if just for a moment. In that moment, you shift the foundation of your reality. Without conscious effort, a series of events, opportunities, and coincidences will arise, carrying you toward the very result you accepted within. It will feel natural, inevitable, even though the conscious mind will marvel at how easily it came. You do not have to figure out how it will happen. That is not your role. Your only task is to master the inner world, to align yourself with the reality you wish to experience, knowing with quiet certainty that the mirror must respond. Everything you see is a reflection. Everything you touch is a shadow of your imagination. There is nothing to conquer out there. There is only your own consciousness to direct. Shift within, and the world without will obediently rearrange itself. You are the cause. You are the dreamer. You are the operant power. And when you claim this truth, quietly and boldly, you will see what you once called miracles become the most natural events of your life. There is a hidden key to manifestation that few ever discover. That key is naturalness. Whatever you wish to manifest, whether it be winning the lottery, perfect health, love, or success, must first feel natural to you. Desire alone is not enough. Longing, hoping, wishing, these are not creative acts. In fact, the very feeling of striving reveals that you still believe the thing you desire is separate from you, distant, perhaps even unattainable. Struggle is evidence of separation. Effort is the signal of disbelief. But when something feels natural to you, it is effortlessly expressed through you. It is not forced, it is not a strain, it is simply your state, as normal, as unquestioned as breathing. And when winning the lottery feels as natural to you as tying your shoes or walking across a room, then, and only then, will it express itself in your world. The secret is to assume the feeling of already having won and to let it settle inside you without fanfare or force. You do not have to parade it or constantly remind yourself. Naturalness is quiet. It is the subtle, unshakable conviction that this is who you are now. No celebration is necessary. It is simply your new, comfortable identity. If you feel you must struggle, work harder, visualize longer, or force your belief, stop. You are adding unnecessary resistance. Manifestation is not an act of willpower. It is an act of natural acceptance. It is ease, not strain, that brings your desires to you. Consider how you approach the most ordinary things in your life. You do not visualize air before you breathe. You do not affirm repeatedly that the floor will hold you before you step upon it. You simply assume these things as natural, and so they effortlessly occur. This is the attitude you must adopt toward your desire, not with trembling hope or desperate effort, but with casual certainty. If you won the lottery, how would you feel tomorrow morning? Likely there would be a deep, calm sense of security, a natural confidence, a quiet inner smile. It would not be frantic excitement, but an underlying peace, a knowing that your reality had changed. Do not wait for the evidence to give you permission to feel it. Feel it first, and the evidence must come. Naturalness is the great shortcut. The moment something feels natural to you, your outer world must rearrange itself to reflect that assumption. Events will unfold without your effort, doors will open without your pushing, and what once seemed miraculous will come to you as the most inevitable and normal result. There is only a new identity to accept, quietly and naturally. You do not need to become something you are not. You only need to remember who you have always been, the silent power behind the scenes, the dreamer creating the dream. Yomino, Dr. Karam, let it feel natural, let it be easy, let it come. Shift within, and the world without will obediently rearrange itself. You are the cause, you are the dreamer, you are the operant power. And when you claim this truth quietly and boldly, you will see what you once called miracles become the most natural events of your life. There is a hidden key to manifestation that few ever discover. That key is naturalness. Whatever you wish to manifest, whether it be winning the lottery, perfect health, love, or success, must first feel natural to you. Desire alone is not enough. Longing, hoping, wishing, these are not creative acts. In fact, the very feeling of striving reveals that you still believe the thing you desire is separate from you, distant, perhaps even unattainable. Struggle is evidence of separation. Effort is the signal of disbelief. But when something feels natural to you, it is effortlessly expressed through you. It is not forced, it is not a strain, it is simply your state, as normal, as unquestioned, as breathing. And when winning the lottery feels as natural to you as tying your shoes or walking across a room, then, and only then, will it express itself in your world. The secret is to assume the feeling of already having won and to let it settle inside you without fanfare or force. You do not have to parade it or constantly remind yourself. Naturalness is quiet. It is the subtle, unshakable conviction that this is who you are now. No celebration is necessary. It is simply your new, comfortable identity. If you feel you must struggle, work harder, visualize longer, or force your belief, stop. You are adding unnecessary resistance. Manifestation is not an act of willpower. It is an act of natural acceptance. It is ease, not strain, that brings your desires to you. Consider how you approach the most ordinary things in your life. You do not visualize air before you breathe. You do not affirm repeatedly that the floor will hold you before you step upon it. You simply assume these things as natural, and so they effortlessly occur. This is the attitude you must adopt toward your desire, not with trembling hope or desperate effort, but with casual certainty. If you won the lottery, how would you feel tomorrow morning? Likely there would be a deep, calm sense of security, a natural confidence, a quiet inner smile. It would not be frantic excitement, but an underlying peace, a knowing that your reality had changed. Do not wait for the evidence to give you permission to feel it first, and the evidence must come. Naturalness is the great shortcut. The moment something feels natural to you, your outer world must rearrange itself to reflect that assumption. Events will unfold without your effort, doors will open without your pushing, and what once seemed miraculous will come to you as the most inevitable and normal result. There is only a new identity to accept, quietly and naturally. You do not need to become something you are not. You only need to remember who you have always been, the silent power behind the scenes, the dreamer creating the dream. Let it feel natural, let it be easy, let it come. In the beginning was the Word, and so it remains. The creative power of all life moves first through the spoken and heard word. It is not empty sound, it is life itself. The word is the seed from which all manifestations spring forth. When you listen to a word spoken with authority, with belief, and you receive it without resistance, you have planted a living seed within the fertile soil of your consciousness. You may not yet see the tree, the fruit, or the harvest, but the seed is there, and it carries within it the pattern and power of fulfillment. Absent does not mean indifferent. It means you are relaxed, open, receptive, without effort or strain. Faithful means you accept it as true without doubting or needing to force its growth. If someone were to hand you a seed of an oak tree and say, plant this and you shall have an oak, you would not plant it and then dig it up the next morning to check if the tree had appeared. You would trust the hidden process. You would understand that unseen forces, light, water, warmth, are at work in secret, moving toward inevitable growth. The word you hear and accept in faith sets into motion the invisible forces of life. These forces, though unseen to the human eye, are far more real than anything you can touch or measure. They operate by law, not by chance. They must bring forth after their kind. If you hear the words, you are wealthy, and you accept them, even once, with a quiet inner yes, you have planted the seed of wealth. It matters not if your senses scream the opposite. It matters not if your bank account denies it. The seed is sown and the harvest is inevitable, unless you uproot it with doubt, fear, or disbelief. This is why you are told to guard what you hear and to be mindful of what you allow to enter your consciousness. For every word carries a vibration, a seed of potential creation. And so when you listen to the words you have already won, you need only listen once. But listen deeply. Let it enter the inner ear, the heart of belief. Do not argue, do not analyze, simply receive. The forces that move mountains, that part seas, that raise up kings and humble nations, these very forces respond to the living seed of the word within you. You do not need to know how the seed will grow. You do not need to interfere with its development. Your only task is to guard the feeling of acceptance and gratitude, knowing that the work is already finished in the invisible realm. The spoken word, received in faith, cannot return void. It must accomplish that which it was sent to do. Trust the seed. Trust the word. Trust the unseen forces now at work on your behalf. Plant it once with faith and reap a life beyond your greatest dreams. The power to manifest anything, be it wealth, health, love, or success, lies not in the struggle or the striving, but in the effortless assumption that it is already true. To assume is to accept, to believe fully in the moment you hear, in the moment you choose, that what you desire is already yours. One single act of true assumption, believed in fully and felt with the heart, carries more creative power than months of continuous effort or struggle. Effortlessly, it aligns your inner world with the outer world, causing them to meet in harmony. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you stand firmly in the state of already having it, you trigger a chain of events that will inevitably bring that reality into your experience. Many people are caught in the illusion that they must try or work hard for what they want, but this effort is not the key. In fact, it often blocks the flow of your desires. The mind may scream for you to do more or try harder, but the truth is, the moment you surrender to the idea that everything is already here, that you are already the person you wish to be, you are aligning yourself with the natural flow of manifestation. To truly assume is to know, without a doubt, that what you desire is already present in your life. When you hear the words, "You have won the lottery," or "You are rich," do not analyze or question them. Do not try to figure out how it will happen. Instead, accept it in that very moment as the new truth about yourself. Effortless assumption means feeling that you are already in possession of your desire. It is not a laborious act or something that requires mental gymnastics. It is the simple act of aligning your inner state with the state you desire to experience. If you want to experience wealth, feel wealth. In truth, effort is resistance. The more you struggle, the more you push against the current, but the moment you assume, you are allowing the current to carry you. Your assumptions are the very force that brings things to you, not through effort, but through acceptance and alignment. This is why one true act of assumption is more powerful than months or even years of trying. When you fully believe that you are already the person who has won the lottery, or the person who is living in abundance, the entire universe must respond in kind. It has no choice but to reflect your inner assumption. And here lies the beauty of this process. It is effortless. You need not toil, you need not strain, you only need to accept and feel that it is already done. Once you have assumed it, you have set the law into motion. The external world must match the assumption you have made. So let go of effort. Let go of the need to do more. Simply assume, feel, and live in the state of already having it. and watch in wonder as the universe brings it to you naturally, effortlessly, as though it were always meant to be. In the realm of manifestation, the greatest secret lies in understanding that persistence is not in the act of striving, but in the art of listening. Too often we are conditioned to believe that to manifest our desires, we must work tirelessly, repeat affirmations endlessly, or struggle to maintain belief. But the truth is simpler, more powerful, and more peaceful than that. To truly persist in manifesting your desires, you need only to listen once, and listen with an open heart. The key is not in relentless effort, but in accepting the word, the idea, the desire in that one moment of hearing it. When you listen with full attention, with full acceptance, you are planting a seed that will take root and grow without the need for force. The moment you hear the truth of what you desire, whether it's the affirmation that you are wealthy, healthy, or loved, your task is not to repeat it endlessly or to question it. Your task is to accept it deeply in your heart as true. That act of acceptance, that single moment of belief, is all it takes. Think about how you listen to a good story. You don't question the details as the storyteller speaks. You don't interrupt to add your own versions of the events. You listen attentively, and in that moment you accept the story as true. Manifestation is no different. When you hear the words, "You are already wealthy," you need not question it. You simply listen, accept, and allow it to sink into your consciousness. True persistence is not in continually forcing yourself to believe. It is in your willingness to hear and accept the truth in that instant. It is in your ability to trust that your acceptance, your belief, has already set the process in motion. Many people make the mistake of striving, trying to hold the belief even when doubt creeps in, but this only causes resistance. When you strive, you send a signal to the universe that you are not yet in alignment with your desire. Striving creates a feeling of lack. Instead of repeating affirmations or struggling to maintain belief, trust that the initial moment of listening and acceptance is enough. That is where the power lies. You are not called to endlessly chase after what you desire. You are not called to force anything into being. Instead, your role is to remain open, to listen, and to trust that once you have listened with faith, the seed has been planted. This is the secret of persistence. It is the persistence of acceptance, the persistence of listening. The moment you truly hear the truth of your desire and allow it to settle in, you have already done all the work. The universe takes care of the rest. Now, as you persist in your listening, remain in the knowing that the invisible forces are already at work. You do not need to keep striving to make it happen. Simply allow the manifestation to unfold. The power is in your ability to remain in that state of trust and belief, knowing that your desire has already been fulfilled in the unseen world. Everything is already set in motion. So listen, and listen once. Do not overcomplicate it with unnecessary effort. Let your heart remain open and trust that the process is already underway. Belief at the moment of hearing is enough. It is already done. Simply stay present, stay open, and allow the world to reflect back to you the fruit of your faith. In closing, the path to manifesting your desires is not one of struggle, effort, or endless striving. It is a path of effortless assumption, of listening with an open heart, and of trusting in the unseen forces that move when you believe. Each moment of true assumption, when you fully accept the reality of your desire as already done, sets into motion a series of invisible events. These events are not by chance but by law. The bridge of incidents will form, guiding you toward your desire, and everything you need will appear at the perfect time. Remember, the word is the seed, and listening to it with belief is all you need to plant it in the fertile soil of your consciousness. From that moment forward, you need only trust that the universe is working in your favor. There is no need for excessive effort. Once you listen, once you accept, the manifestation is already on its way. Persistence is not found in endless striving or effort, but in the steadfast belief that everything is already unfolding in perfect order. You need not do anything but remain in the state of having, knowing that your wish is already fulfilled. I encourage you to walk forward in this knowing, to release the need to push or fight for your desires, and instead trust the quiet power of assumption and belief. The bridge will form, the path will unfold, and you will find yourself walking effortlessly toward the life you've imagined. Thank you for listening, and thank you for accepting the truth of your power. Your desire is already here.